Welcome back to Voices and Views. I'm Nathan Stevens here at KGPR Great Falls, and with me today I have John Wallace, Director of Assisted Living at Grandview, and also John Goodnow, the CEO of Benefis Health System. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi.
Hello.
Now, we have to celebrate a little bit here because you guys are in the top 100 hospitals in the entire country. Is that correct?
That is right, and we're very proud of that. And it's a designation that is all based on the outcomes the health outcomes the facility gets. So being one of the 100 best hospitals in the United States is quite an honor, and we were very pleased to get that.
And I believe that would have something to do with how you're able to really care for people all the way from being babies or prenatal all the way up to more elderly people. Is that correct?
It does. We have really good outcomes in the entire health system, whether you're a infant that was born prematurely and in the NICU or clear up through end-of-life care at Peace Hospice of Montana. And we're a little bit unique in a health system in that we do have every level of care, from tiny, tiny babies to when you pass on. And in addition to that, a big home care company, too, to provide care right in people's homes. So we have a pretty comprehensive set of services.
Now, recently there have been some developments with the elderly care at Benefis. Could you explain a little bit about Grandview, please?
Sure. It was something we got interested in back in 2007, and it's a whole continuum of care for the elderly in this case. And one of the things we hadn't had as a health system was assisted living. And while we had a nursing home, we didn't have one of these new styles of nursing home, which provides care in a very different way than the old traditional style of nursing home care. So after we visited this other facility and continuum of care facility back in 2007, we decided as an organization that's something to be really good to have in Great Falls. And there was nothing like that in all of north central Montana. And this is the only such facility in north central Montana and only one of two in Montana. So we started the planning for it back in 2007, and it's taken, all this time to get it planned out and constructed and, getting the land and everything else. But it'll be a great addition to our community, and it'll create some new jobs and a really nice level of care for people. And then John joined us recently, and he really knows the assisted living business. And like I say, we've never been in that business before. So having someone like John a part of Benefis now is just a really nice thing. And I'll let him talk more about that.
Okay. Well, the assisted living is really helping people with a few things they might need help. What we call ADLs, the activities of daily living. They may need help with bathing or eating or medication management or things like that. If we help them, then they are completely independent and they can go about and they can carry on their normal life. So when they're in assisted living, that's what we do. We just provide them assistance with their ADLs and take care of them and let them do their thing. People in assisted living, they carry on. They have life outside in bridge clubs, and they go to concerts, they go to theater, they go to shows, they go to parties, and that's really a neat thing. The really neat thing about assisted living is it draws them together in a social atmosphere, and they have socialization with their peers, and that's what's lacking in most of their lives. Usually there's a significant other that's gone, and they have just kind of gotten into this mode of being by themselves and a little bit of depression and not really socializing. So when they go into assisted living and they're with people their own age, they really blossom. And I had a resident they came into the building and the son said, "Oh, she'll never do well here, never do well." And about 3 months later, he would call and say, "Where's Mom?" And I don't know, she's off on one of the trips again someplace or something else. And that's kind of activity you want to see them do because they have a lot of life to live yet. We just want to help them and get through their days.
And then the senior campus is the way it's structured is most people would enter when they need assisted living, like John was just explaining. And then if you get to the age or health condition, where you're not able to any longer be in assisted living, then you also have the option to go in the skilled nursing care, what most of us would think of as a nursing home. But this nursing home's unlike anything you've ever seen. There's 3 nursing home cottages, senior care cottages, and each of the cottages is built around a central living area to be very home-like, and the nursing home residents each have their own private bedroom, bathroom, have a lot more say over when they get up, when they go to bed, what they have to eat. Most traditional nursing homes are pretty regimented. Everybody gets up together, everybody eats at the same time, and so forth. So this is a way different level or style of care, and much more home-like and family-like. And so like I say, it's the only one in all of north central Montana like that, and one of only 2 in the state. So that'll be a really nice addition to the community for people to have that choice if they need nursing home care. So
it's pretty obvious that you guys know the importance of making that distinction between assisted living and nursing care, and I think that's fantastic, because that's very much something I think people just sort of put in the same group instead of making that very important distinction.
No, I think you're right. But there's a fair difference. So
yeah, and you guys also have hospice care, correct?
Yes, we do. We have a facility called Peace Hospice of Montana that was made possible back in 2002, the original facility, with an anonymous donation. A single anonymous donation built that whole facility, and it was originally 12 beds for people, in their very last months of life, and the staff there are masters at helping someone kind of accept the end of life and pass on in a really peaceful and good manner, not only for them but for their families as well. And then recently, donations funded an expansion, so now it's, instead of 12 beds, it's 20 beds. But yeah, we have that facility too. That's separate from the senior campus, but certainly an important part of Benefis Health System.
One of the things I'd like to do is just kind of walk you through the campus and give you a kind of an overview of the campus.
Absolutely.
It's a very large facility. It's about 124,000 square feet, and it's divided into the 3 cottages that John Goodnow was talking about. Each of those has 16 suites, and each cottage is separate. Staff will be assigned to those cottages, and they will work there. They'll learn the residents will learn them. Each cottage has their own kitchen, their own dining room, and their own chef right there. So they won't be leaving and having to go to a main dining room or anything like that. And when you walk into the cottages, you just light up because it is so beautiful. The rooms are spectacular. The tile work in the bathrooms is like nothing you've ever seen before, and you just go in there and it puts a smile on your face. Not to talk about the whirlpool room that's just absolutely fantastic. I mean, that in itself, they can put a resident in there, get them a whirlpool bath every day they want it. We talked about resident-directed care. This is a new thing in nursing care as well, in skilled nursing. And that means that the resident's kind of the star of the show. They kind of talk about when they're going to have these things done and how they want things to be handled with them. And it's not the old regimen of, well, we wake everybody up at 6:30 and we have to have breakfast at 7 to 8. Now it's, well, Mabel wants to get up at 7:30 or 8, but she doesn't want to really eat till 9:30. Great. Come on into the kitchen. We'll fix you something to eat, and we'll just sit there and talk with you, have a cup of coffee with you. It makes their life just like it was at home. They sit right around the kitchen table there, and everything is very smooth and very active. It's a place for people to be active, and to live their life to the fullest and keep that going all the time. Just because they're in a skilled nursing facility, they do not have to stop living. And so to have this really uplifting and bright and vivacious and just a lot of energy in there, staff talking and having fun, that's what makes it work. From there, we can go to the memory care, which is assisted living, and helps people with the probably the first three stages of dementia care. They could have dementia and or Alzheimer's. That we're able to take them and to help monitor their activities and keep them safe. One of the things that happens is that they tend to wander and things like that. Well, we have all kinds of activities for them. We have a sensory garden that they can walk out into and just browse around to their heart's content. Yet if there's inclement weather on the way, we can electronically lock the doors and protect them. In the garden, all of the plants are non-poisonous, so if they pull a plant and want to take a bite, so be it. They're fine. We have a life skills room where we can have residents who maybe needed to, in their previous life, were a secretary or an accountant, and we can have a tin key, or we can have an adding machine or a cash register. We can do a lot of things so that they can enjoy and be part of, get back into their life. The other thing that we use a lot is technology, and that's one of the things we have is a WanderGuard system that is interactive. It actually learns a resident's routine, and folks in dementia care have a routine. That's what keeps them in a balance. And when they deviate from that, it'll send a page to one of our aides, and the CNA will go find the individual and get them back into their routine and get everything is just smooth again. So we want to keep them in a balanced condition where they can enjoy the day. The last thing we have, which is probably the most important, and it's the only one in Montana and one of the few in the United States, is a tranquility room. And that tranquility room is full of electronic equipment to produce sight, sound, sense, to create virtually any scene or sound that you want to have that would be calming to a particular individual. So if a person's having a bad day, they can go into there for a half hour, and if they like to fish or whatever, they can put on, we can get music going or get a stream going, and just that calming puts them back down to where they need to be able to carry on their day and enjoy their day. That prevents a lot of violent interactions that sometimes occurs when people don't have something like that. It's a very neat setup, and like I say, it's the only one in Montana, and probably one of the very few in the United States. The traditional assisted living, as we said before, is just helping people with the activities of daily living so they can live their life. Again, we have 2 floors, and in both of those floors, we have a country kitchen again. So we have a country kitchen just for each floor. They can sit there and, again, come in anytime, have food, have their lunch whenever they want it, enjoy it at their pace. There's no rush. There's no anything. The staff is all trained. And I think one of the huge things about this continuum of care is the level of training for the staff. As an example, in the assisted living, we will have a RN as our wellness nurse. We'll have LPNs and certified nursing assistants, CNAs. We won't have any RCAs or anything else. So these people are trained, they're certified, and they're state certified. Our chef is an executive chef. She will design the meals that'll be served. They'll come into the dining rooms, and they're beautiful tables, dinnerware set up, beautiful tablecloths. They'll enjoy their meal at leisure, have a fantastic dessert, and go back to their apartments or roam outside or do whatever they want to do. They can do it at their pace. The staff is very, very well trained. Everything we do has been checked out. It's been backed up, so we know what we're doing with this. So that's one of the big differences between us and others at this point.
I wanted to ask where exactly this is located, and on top of that, how can you set up a visit with Grandview in the coming weeks or months?
We bought land a few years ago just for the senior campus. So the actual location is 29th Street South and 18th Avenue, and it's a big chunk of land that it was set aside for the senior campus. Actually, the whole piece of land is 66 acres. The senior campus itself sits on about a third of that, and the rest is open land right now. And at some point, we're going to develop walking trails and some of those kind of things. So it's a very nice setting. In terms of your question about how can you see it, there are going to be public open houses on October 4th and 5th, and those will be published in the Tribune. And so that's one opportunity for anyone in the community that would like to see it, For people that have someone that might like to be a resident there, we're already doing hard hat tours because it's still little final bits of construction. But those tours are already going on, and they can be arranged by contacting 455-5960 or visiting the Grandview at Benefis.org website, either one.
Now, this is something fantastic for Great Falls, not just for the care that you're giving the elderly, but also, will this create some jobs, I believe? Is that correct?
It does create some new jobs. 35 new jobs are created by this project. Most of the new job creation is actually in John's area in assisted living, because that's the thing that's totally new for us, is the assisted living. So, and they're, good jobs and good paying jobs with good benefits, so good for the Great Falls economy as well. And building the project itself involved 21 different local subcontractors on that project. So it, pumped a lot of money into the Great Falls economy as it was being built too. So.
Well, can you tell me a little bit about the building process behind all this? You had a model in St. John's, is that correct?
We did have conceptual kind of a framework for it, and then we hired a combination of a local architectural firm along with a national firm that specializes in senior care. And they worked together to design this senior care campus specifically for the land that it sits on and such. And the buildings have nice views. And, I mean, it was just specially designed for where it sits. And so the construction's been going on several years now. We'll be finishing up the construction in September and then doing the open houses and such in early October. And by the latter part of October, we'll be moving the first residents into the facility. So the public tours on October 5th and 6th, which is the first weekend in October, and I'd encourage people to, even if you don't have somebody that's needing that type of facility now, I think you'll enjoy seeing it. And who knows, in every family at some point, somebody's going to need assisted living or nursing home care or whatever. So it's a good thing to see. And it's hopefully those 2 days we'll have good weather and get a chance to go outside and see some new facility and new addition to Great Falls.
And any final thoughts from you guys in terms of what you have personally put into this? I mean, I'm just wondering.
Well, I'd like to digress just for a second and talk about, when we talk about the jobs that it was creating, and those are all new jobs. And so when we had an open house about 2 weeks ago, we were shocked. We had 95 applicants at that open house, and that was amazing. And the energy level in that room was, it was, everybody was walking in there saying, I can't believe the energy in this room. And it was just rocking. And we got some fantastic candidates out of that. To go along with that, we're in the process of hiring right now. We're probably about 35% done. And now we're at the final stages. And sometime in September, probably late September, we're going to have another job fair, and it'll be held over as a matter of fact, in the town square, in the social hub of the community over there. And that way people can really see what they're looking to work at. And it'll be a fantastic opportunity, and again, to get those great paying jobs, and people, when they have that, they stay a long time. On
your point, Nathan, on kind of what the personal side of this, I just mention for mine specifically, my dad spent 17 years, believe it or not, in a nursing home due to a head injury he had, and that's quite a while ago. And so I got to, over 17-year period, appreciate what traditional nursing home care is like. And then my mom in her later years, she started out in assisted living and loved assisted living. At a certain point, had to go into a nursing home and really didn't like the nursing home either. So my personal motivation has always been, boy, there's got to be a better way to provide nursing home care. And so I think this is it. This is the better way. So that's why it'll be such a great thing for Great Falls and people to have that kind of an option. And then the other thing, like I mentioned earlier, we've just never had Benefis as assisted living. And that's a really nice thing for people. And John Wallace has lots of years of experience in that, and he's going to do a great job running that and make sure people have a really good experience. So we're excited for this project to be almost complete now and soon taking residents and for the community to see it. And it's a nice thing to be able to add to Great Falls.
Nathan, I think the thing I'd like to really stress to people is to get on the website. And that, again, is the Grandview at benefis.org. Get on there and go through the website, and you'll be amazed at what you can see. There's sample menus and everything else. You take a look at that sample menu, you think you're in a five-star restaurant. I mean, that's just what this is going to be like. This is going to be something way out of the ordinary. This will set the standard for the whole north central Montana. Get on that website and take a look at it. If you want to take a hard hat tour, you can call either Kathy Ross or myself at 455-5960, and we will arrange to have you take a look at the building.
It sounds like you guys are doing a lot of good for the Great Falls area and for the Montana in general with doing this. And I would personally like to thank you for doing this. It's great.
Our pleasure.
Thank you, Nathan.
This has been Voices and Views at KGPR Great Falls. I'm your host, Nathan Stevens. I was with John Wallace, the Director of Assisted Living at Grandview, and John Goodnow, the CEO of Benefis Health System.